live stream. Let me just check this out. Okay. That Amara. I'm just gonna wait for some people to come in. And I hope these people are tuned in. Can hear me okay? Can see me okay? Let me get back in here. Let's get this done a minute. Let's open up. Okay, I'm going to wait for some people to come in before I kick off. Please, people, tell me where you're coming from, which cities, which countries. It would be good to know, as it helps with monitoring live streams. Narratives are recorded. I've got a lot to squeeze in within 1 hour. There's a lot of material here, so I'm not going to waste too much time. For those who tune in later, you'll just have to go back to online. Just give it another 2 minutes. Okay, this is saying there's insufficient disk space to continue recording. Oh man. The trials and tribulations of streaming live. Not enough disk space. I don't understand that. To YouTube to see who's in there. Okay. this live stream. For those who's watching, can you tell me if you can hear me okay? Can you see me okay? Or are you getting any delay? Just jump straight into this video. Let me start. Stop this music. Just jump straight in to this live stream. This is Eldad Amara. Okay? I don't think today people are going to be able to see a repeat of this stream because OBS is saying there's not enough disk space. Let me try one more time. Yes, there is insufficient disk space to continue. Okay, so what I'm gonna have to just do is just go with things as they are. Right, today I'm going to be looking at the soul traps of the Matrix. How can we get out? How can we get out? The soul traps of the Matrix. How can we get out? This is part 2. I done part 1 last week. So for those people who haven't seen part 1, I suggest you go to part 1 and then come back to part 2 to get a better understanding of what I'm talking about. Okay? Now, I want to know, whose narratives are you following? Are you following your own narratives or the narratives of the elite? See, some people will say, I have freedom to do whatever I want, to go wherever I want, to buy whatever I want, to travel whenever I want and wherever I want. Okay? So that, according to many, makes them free. Free will. Freedom to speak. To speak as they feel to. People say we're living in a democracy, but this democracy seems to be slowly eroding. Let me go over to these slides. Right. Narratives. Whose narratives are we following? What is defined as a narrative? And whose narratives are we following? Are we following our own or the elites? A narrative is an account of connected events. It can be oral or written and serves various purposes such as entertaining, educating, communicating, sharing, creating meaning for readers and listeners. When we talk about story, we're essentially referring to a narrative, whether it's a novel, a movie, or even a still image. Narratives are the basis of storytelling. They connect related events or incidents, shaping our understanding of the world around us. Right? I'm not going to go through all of this. I'm just giving you a basic idea of what narratives are. Sequence of events, the raw material of a story. Plot, the sequence of events with their causes and effects included. Narratives, narrative decisions, how the story is told. Choices like which events are most important, where to begin and end, the order of events, and the use of different techniques. Right. Following an elite's narratives. Sorry, that was my stomach. The term elites often refer to influential or powerful groups within society, such as political leaders, business magnates, or intellectuals. When we talk about following a narrative, it means aligning with or accepting a particular viewpoint or storyline. People may follow narratives for various reasons: persuasion, social influence, media influence. As individuals, we may consciously or unconsciously align with certain narratives. It's essential to critically evaluate the narratives we encounter and consider their sources, biases, potential impacts on our thinking. Regarding the elite narrative, it's crucial to recognize that the narratives can be multifaceted. Some people may perceive elites as positive forces driving progress, whilst others may view them as perpetuating inequality or dependence on exposure, experiences, critical analysis of the narratives presented to us. In summary, narratives are powerful tools that shape our understanding of the world. Whether we follow an elite's narratives or any other, it's essential to engage thoughtfully and consider multiple perspectives. Okay, so whose narratives are we following? Are we following the elite's narratives, or are we following our own narratives? I think 2020 kind of put things into perspective. What happened during 2020 when a lot of people had to follow certain rules and guidelines? You had to stand 6 feet apart. You had to wear a mask. You had to download a QR code if you wanted to go into a store, into a nightclub, into a restaurant, and so forth. If you wanted to travel overseas, you had to show this QR code. Whose narratives then were you following? Was it your own, or was it the government's narratives? Please tell me. Please tell me. You see, I think we have freedom, but only limited freedom. We have choice, but only limited choice. Only within certain parameters. Okay? Only within certain parameters. Do you agree? If you do, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. Whose narratives, whose beliefs, whose perceptions are we following? Is it our own? Or is it the higher uppers, the elite, for want of a better word? Let me go. over to here. Look at this. You see, we have a pyramid scheme with the elite so said at the top of this pyramid, and then as we come down, you have other organizations and institutions underneath. Okay? Some think the world monarch are the ruling elites of the planet, but I would disagree and would say that there's people much higher up, much more powerful than the royal families around the globe. We know that the royal families are interlinked through marriage and bloodline, but they are not the most powerfulest people on the planet, nor are people such as Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. Who's the other one? There's quite a few of them. Bill Gates. These are some of the world's most wealthiest men. But believe it or not, what they make is peanuts compared to those people at the top, the hidden hand that guides the world, and you don't see them. Let me go here. Here are some of these groups: BlackRock, Vanguard. Okay? You've got the United States government. You've got these institutions like Pfizer. We all knew about Pfizer, didn't we, during 2020? Yeah? Let me go back to this pyramid. This pyramid, the world monarch, then the Crown Council underneath, then the Committee of 300, the world's richest, most powerful sub-families, the think tanks, okay? The think tanks, the Club of Rome, for example, the United Nations, you have WEF, and all these other organizations. Underneath them, the World Financial Control. These are your central banks, tax revenue, interest revenue. Underneath this, the World Resource Control, ExxonMobil, BP, Petrol, Total, IBM. You've got Pfizer, Toyota, and all those corporations, okay, closer to the bottom of the pyramid. Then you have religious institutions, you have your governments, your intelligence community, military, police, courts, prisons. You got the media, you got your schools and universities, and I'll say it again, when you get down to the very bottom of this pyramid, you have population and workers. They are at the foot of the pyramid. If you understand what I'm saying, please hit the like button. Please hit the like button. And I go back and I'll say again, yes, we do have a certain amount of control of our own lives, but there's institutions that were put in place well before our birth, and these institutions govern the way we think, the way we feel, governs our actions and perceptions. These political institutions. What else? You have law, psychology, and all of these institutions, and now you have technology, which is starting to take over so much aspects of our lives. Social media, television, mobile phones, radio. These things are starting to dominate our lives. And it's not just within the UK or the USA or Spain or France or Italy or Germany or India or Pakistan or Russia or Ukraine. It's global. It's a global thing. It's a global thing. And I'll say it one more time. It's a global thing. Let me show you something. Let me go back to these diagrams. Right. This thing here. This thing here. Television. You got your old-fashioned TV sets. Now we've got digital TV, high definition, and then your mobile phones. The mobile phones now are called smartphones. There's nothing really smart about these phones. It's just we who use them like to think they're smart. Smartphones are basically a small computer on your phone where you can log into your internet and other services. Right? These things didn't come about until about the 1990s. Yeah? Now you can walk around with a computer in your hand. And some of us are so addicted to these computers, these mobile phones. Look at this, the old-fashioned TV, where you had only about 3 stations in the UK during the 1960s. Now you got smart TV with about 200 channels on them, if not more. People are so addicted to their telephones and to their TVs. And now social media is starting to take a big grip of people's lives. Karl Marx was a German-born philosopher, economist, political theorist, historian, sociologist, journalist, revolutionist, born on the 5th of May 1818 in Trier, Germany. Died on the 14th of March 1883, aged 64 years, in London. Karl Marx once said, "Religion is the opium of the people," meaning how religion is like an addiction to a drug like opium. The new opium of the people are the social media and our smartphones. We cannot do without them. We cannot put them down. We are starting to become addicted to these things. We are starting to become addicted to these things. The average time spent on mobile phones in the UK is about 8 hours a day, and it's about 7 hours a day in the USA. That's average. That's on average. Not the longest amount of time or the shortest amount of time. That's the average amount of time people spend on these devices. Woo! I say, woo! That's a lot of time. And we only have 24 hours in a day. And we got these things in our hands. And we're just constantly watching the screen. Watching and flicking through information. Okay? mind can't sit still, flicking from one thing to the next. Okay? It's like an addiction. I said that the new opium of the people is social media and your phones. Because people will go to bed with their phones, and the first thing they reach for in the morning is their phones. They are so addicted to it. 24 hours in a day. Split your day up. You have 8 hours of work, 8 hours of entertainment, and 8 hours of sleeping. This can be broken up into thirds in our lives. That means something like 2/3 of our life is doing something else, and 1/3 sleeping. So when you're sleeping, you can't be doing much. But you know what? Subconsciously, all this information that you've downloaded from these devices is going in here. When you're asleep, it's in here. Or in your subconscious. When you fall asleep with your TV on, sometimes you're taking in information and you don't realize it. It's going in here. You are being programmed. Programmed even when you're asleep. You're being conditioned. These institutions, such as your political institutions, your religious institutions, your laws, psychology, psychometry, go into the food industry. These institutions all condition the way we think, the way we feel. Okay? They govern our emotions. Let me go back into another slide. Man, we think we have so much control of our life without realizing that in the background, these institutions are governing most of the way we perceive the world. I'll tell you something else. These institutions like to keep us in fear. They like to try and keep us in control. They like to try and keep us dependent on them. Okay? So, where's our power? Where's our spells? Words carry so much energy and frequency, and we don't realize how powerful language and words are. Now when you're watching the news, let me come out. When you're watching the news, look at the language that they use in the news to keep us in fear, to keep us in their control, in confinement. People are going to say, Eldad, you're chatting rubbish. You're chatting rubbish. But if you agree with me, I want you to hit that like button right now. Hit the like button. You can do it. It's your own hand. Just hit the like button. It doesn't take no energy. Do you understand where I'm going with this? The amount of conditioning that many of us have had to go through, and this has been since our birth, since our conception, coming into this world. Yes, I say again, we have a certain amount of freedom, but only to a certain degree. To a certain degree. And 2020 kind of showed who was really in control. What would have happened if you didn't stand 6 feet apart? What would happen if you didn't wear a mask? What would happen if you didn't download your QR code to go into a shop or a restaurant or a bar? And you remember this other thing? You could only exercise 1 hour a day. 1 hour a day. You couldn't travel to go and see your relatives. Why? And then people started to fall out with each other because of this thing. Yeah, the BAP, the juice, the cocktail. I'll say any one of them words, barring the word, the C word. You know why? Because this video will get taken down. That's how much control these people have of our narratives. We got control to a certain degree, but say something or do something they don't like, guess what? They're gonna pull your shit down. Do you hear me? In the UK, they've recently brought out an act, a censorship act, the online safety bill. It says it's there to protect people, especially young people, from abuse. That's a good thing. That's a really good thing. Stop young people from being abused online and other people. That's good. And I'm not totally against the online safety bill signed by King George, who made it law. It was a bill, but then it was made law. There's a difference between a bill and a law. It was made law this year. But I have a strong feeling that what's going to happen, they're going to be using this for other purposes other than what they're saying it was set out for. I think they're going to be monitoring everybody online, snooping on them and seeing what they're doing. And if you do things they disagree with on social media, you're going to be banned. You're going to be fined. You're going to have your name registered with some organization. They'll be watching every single keystroke, every single person you're talking to on the internet, every like, every comment that you make. It will be registered and monitored. You ain't gonna be able to say hardly anything soon. freedom of speech is slowly being eradicated. Do you agree? If you do, please hit the like button. I'm going to go quickly into YouTube. Wow. There's nothing there. What's going on? What is going on? Let me go back. Yes, freedom is slowly being eradicated. They got a lot of people living in fear. Wow. You turn on the news and you got words, some of these key words on the news. Crisis. Crisis. Look at this person here trying to lift up the weights. Crisis. Food crisis. Housing crisis. You go here, weather forecast. The weather looks dull. Lots of rain. Lots of rain. Lots of wind. Possible hurricane. Possible earthquakes. Famines. Weather forecast there'll be famine in the Middle East, in Africa, and then places. Thank God. Some people say I'm not there. I'm not living in these places. Weather forecast. Ooh, yes. Stop terrorism. Terrorism. Look at this. A red circle with a cross through it. A man with a mask on with 2 guns. Yeah? 2 machine guns. Stop terrorism. When you hear these words, when you see these images on TV, you think terrorism and the emotions that this casts on you, how you start feeling. Look at this. National debt. The national debt. The national debt is £10 trillion. Who's paying for the national debt? It's not the rich. I'll tell you that for certain. It's the poor, the middle class and the upper class, not the upper echelons. How do we pay the national debt? Through taxes. Everything is taxed. Soon they'll be taxing the air that we're breathing. Inflation. Inflation. That's another one. Look at this. An arrow going upwards. And there's a person here with food, struggling to get up the slope. Struggling. Inflation. The inflation is causing a housing shortage. The inflation is causing the fuel prices to rise. Man, that's the kind of language that they use on the news. Hardly ever any good news on the news. Let me go back. Wow. Let me go back. Man. No wonder some people are trying to get out of the matrix. They feel suffocated. They feel stifled. A lot of people started to wake up during 2020. They said something doesn't feel right here. Wow. We're supposed to be citizens and we're treated like prisoners. Can't come out of our houses. Can't go to the shop without showing some code. You got to put something over your face. You can't see your relatives. Oh man. Oh man, oh man. The Matrix. The socially constructed world made by man. Made by man. And a kind of a man. A kind of a man. Anybody ever seen this film? They Live. If you haven't, please go and get the film. It was made in 1988 by John Carpenter, who wrote and produced the film. There's a guy in this film, the main actor, Roddy Piper, a wrestler, who starred in this film, and he was unemployed, looking for work. Comes to a certain town in California. Anyway, kind of long story short, he finds these box of glasses, and when he puts on the glass, he starts to see the world in a different light. He starts to see the world in a different light. The true world, not the illusionary world that we're living in. He sees all this. Buy, obey. This is on billboards. Buy, obey, consume, sleep, go on holiday, don't ask questions. He starts to see the world for what it truly is when he's got on these glasses. Okay? There's a alien race that is the hidden hand that is telling us what to do, where to go, what to think, when to go to bed, to obey, to consume, and all the rest of it. They don't like us asking questions. They want us to stay asleep. They want us to stay asleep. 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 Rest in your slumber. Rest in your slumber. Let me go back to another slide. We're in this matrix, and some are accepting of the matrix. They don't see nothing wrong with it. Some don't question it at all. They just follow the rules and the regulations. There's nothing wrong with the matrix. There's nothing wrong with these institutions. So they just follow along. But there's other people who are starting to wake up, and they're taking the red pill and going down the rabbit hole, as opposed to the blue pill, which majority of people are taking. The people now are slowly starting to wake up. In the film The Matrix, if anyone has seen the film, there's Morpheus. He offers Neo a choice to take the blue pill and stay asleep in the Matrix, or take the red pill and see just how deep this rabbit hole goes. Neo chooses the red pill because Neo knows that there's something more to life than just the 9 to 5. There's something more to life than just the institutions that are controlling us. What's all behind it? People are starting to wake up. Others just wish to stay asleep. Some people are so inert in this matrix that the ones who are trying to wake them up, the ones who are trying to step out of the system, they think there's something wrong with them. So, let me go back here. Look at this. This is what's happening for real right now. Because we've seen this during 2020. People were turning against each other. You had families falling out with each other because some refused to take this thing, the BAP in their arm. Some refused it, whilst others were saying, no, you're being irresponsible, take it, or as I ain't speaking to you again. Right? Don't come near me. You stay away from me. So there was a great divide, and it's happening even more now. You have those satisfied, inert in the matrix, inculcated in the matrix, acquiescing in the matrix, whilst others are starting to wake up. Listen what Morpheus says to Neo. The matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy. But when you're inside, you look around, what do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of the system, and that makes them our enemy. You may have to understand most of these people are not ready to be unplugged, and many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. Morpheus in the matrix. Yes. People are starting to wake up. Others are acquiescing to the matrix, to the system. They don't see nothing wrong with it. They're not questioning it. And for some, yes, they do question it, but you know what? They think they're powerless. They can't do anything, so just accept it, whatever they're told to do. They just accept it. They just accept it. They just accept it. If you agree with me, I want you to type yes on your keypads. Type yes. I'm trying to cremate. I'm trying to cremate. Mix up my words. Freudian slip. That was a Freudian slip. Okay? There's some people who are trying to come out of the matrix, whilst others want to stay inside. There's going to be a consequence both ways, whether you want to stay in the matrix or whether you want to come out. Everything comes at a price. Everything comes at a price. I'm trying to create a community here, okay? Trying to create a community, so people, when you're on this line, I want you to be speaking to each other, okay? And please, no swearing, and try and be respectful even if you don't agree with someone's opinion. Okay? Try and be respectful. There'll be trolls who come on channels like this and try and disrupt things. I suggest you just go somewhere else if you don't like what I'm saying or you don't agree. There's millions of channels out there. Let me go back. Let me go back. Yes, in this Matrix, just like in the film The Matrix, you have people who are put there to try and stop you from waking up, trying to stop you from disrupting the system, trying to stop you from disrupting the ideology. Okay? Trying to stop you from having your own perceptions. They want you to follow the system. You got friends. Some you know, they're not true friends. They just come and collect information and then go and share it with other people, taking the pee behind your back. You got some family members who are also like this. You know they don't have the best intentions for you. Okay? And when you see them, it's only when they want something. And they burn you out because all they do is keep pushing and pushing their problems onto you. And so when they walk away, you feel totally drained. You don't see them when you want to ask them a favor. Okay? You had people, work friends, colleagues, they fell out with each other during 2020 because some said, you're being irresponsible if you don't take this thing. Alright? You're being irresponsible. And so people started to fall out. So in this matrix, you have people like this. Yeah? These people. In the Matrix franchise, agents are a group of characters who serve as guardians within the computer-generated world of the Matrix. Agents Smith, Jones and Brown sent to protect the Matrix. Again, as Morpheus said, the Matrix is a system, Neo. That system is our enemy, but when they're inside, you look around. What do you see? Businessmen, teachers, lawyers, carpenters, the very minds of the people we are trying to save. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system. I'll say that again. But until we do, these people are still a part of that system that makes them our enemy. You have to understand, most of these people are not ready to be unplugged. And many of them are so inert. I'm going to say it again, many of them are so inert, so hopelessly dependent on the system that they will fight to protect it. They will fight to protect it. They will fight you down to protect it. I can remember during 2020, I keep using 2020 because it's quite a good theme. It's quite a good theme to show just how much control we as individuals had at this time. We were following somebody else's narratives. Somebody else's narratives. But some people refuse to cooperate. I can remember every Thursday in the UK at 8 o'clock, people go out on their doorstep and they'll be clapping. The NHS, the doctors, the nurses, the surgeons. Oh man. Nope. And the store's closed. Right. I'm expecting this thing to cut out in a minute, because it's talking about disk space. This on OBS. You see how some of these systems don't want certain things out? I don't even use Stream that often. So what are they talking about? Disk space. There's always some interruption any time I'm doing a stream. If it's not OBS, it's from some stream. If this video cuts out in a minute, you know why. Anyway, when those nurses and doctors went back to work and some refused to take the thing, others said you're being irresponsible. Right? And these people were willing to lose their jobs in something that they strongly believed in. Yet still they were on the front line, which meant that they could go back and take this problem back to their family, and guess what would happen from there? So they were on the front line, putting their own lives at risk. When people decided, I'm not taking this thing, the bat, others come out against them, just like Agent and Brown in the Matrix. The agents sent to try and stop those people trying to get out of the Matrix. Let me go back. Let me go back into my PowerPoint. There are people now, they're trying to reach their higher selves. Okay? There are people trying to reach their higher selves. You got this Maslow's hierarchy of needs. It's been used in many different, how would I say, different economies. Yeah? It's been used for different things, for politics, economics, psychology, psychiatry. Okay? This model here. Let me just quickly go through it. At the bottom of the pyramid, you have to satisfy these things first. Biological and physiological needs. That's things such as food, sleep and water. Then you go up to safety. Okay, next, which is security, health and finance. And then you go up to the next stage. Once these two here, safety and biology, has been fulfilled. This next step is love and belonging. This is friendship, intimacy, family, connections. Once those three things here have been fulfilled, you go up to esteem, respect, status, recognition, strength, self-esteem. And then from there you go up to self-actualization, meeting one's full potential in life, different for everyone, for every person. Self-actualization. When you get to the top of that pyramid, you become enlightened. Okay? Now, there's a lot of people now, they're starting to wake up. They're starting to be enlightened. They're starting to see through the matrix. Okay? Through this artificially constructed reality. This illusionary society that we're living in, which was created by an elite group of people to control those lower down in the pyramid. Okay? And they got their institutions set up all over the place. Let me quickly go through different emotions. These people want to keep us in fear, right? Because then we're easier to control. As I said to you about the news, you don't see very often anything good on the news. It's all things that make you feel fearful. I'm going to go through some of these emotions. This is an emotions chart. Okay? At the bottom you have shame, which is 20 hertz frequency. That's a very low vibration. Then you have guilt and apathy, which is 30 hertz vibration. Then you have apathy, which is 50 hertz vibration. Grief at 75 hertz frequency. Fear at 100 hertz frequency. Let me skip some of these. Let's go to courage. Courage is at 200 hertz frequency. Neutrality at 250 hertz frequency. Go up to love. This is a very important frequency. This is what the elite don't want us to get up to this love frequency, because they hold no love. They don't understand what love is. They don't understand what love is. Go type in your telephone. Type in and ask your telephone. You got all these various different devices, Lexus, and there's another one. Go ask it if it loves you. Go and ask it right now. Say to Lexus or whatever, Lexus, do you love me? It will never ever say it loves you. It will find another word, but it will not use this word love. Do it now. Type in, do you love me, Lexus? You will not get a direct answer. Yes, I do love you. The people who made these programs, and I'm telling you this now, the people who made these programs, they are soulless. They don't have emotions. They don't understand what love is. Trust what I'm telling you. I can go deep, deep, deep on this, but I know my video is going to get pulled down. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to create a Patreon page, a channel, Patreon. That way I'll be able to speak more openly. Love is the frequency of all of these frequencies they dislike. That love hurt. That 500 frequency hurt. Then you have joy, 540 hertz frequency. Peace, 600 hertz frequency. Do you see any peace in this world right now? They're trying to reverse this frequency. Peace, 600 frequency, 600 hertz frequency. Enlightenment, 700 hertz frequency to 1000 hertz frequency. That is the frequency that a lot of people who are starting to wake up are starting to vibrate on this higher frequency of enlightenment. Just like Maslow's hierarchy of needs, they're trying to reach up to that fourth dimension, not on this third dimension which the governments want to try and keep us on, that frequency of fear and things like anger. When you start to wake up, you become like Neo. Everything look in slow motion. He could see things before they were happening, before they came. Okay? When you are vibrating on that higher frequency, it's like you're on the outside looking in. You start to see things before they happen. You start to see things before they happen. If you're liking this video, if you're following me, please hit the like button, please. Please hit the like button and share this video. Okay? Let me go in again. Okay? Neo. Oh, Morpheus took Neo to see the Oracle. This is a person like a seer who can see into the future. Okay? The Oracle, a woman who can see into the future. Anyway, Neo wants to know if he was the one. When he went to see the Oracle, this is what happened. The Oracle just said to him, if you don't know that you're the one, I guess I can't really help you. I can't tell you anything, can I? Because you either know you're the one or you don't. And he didn't. He was like a doubting Thomas. Like so many people, not everybody, but like so many people now who have so many doubts. They want to do certain things, but are afraid of coming out of their box, out of their shell. So fear and that safety net keeps them inside of that frequency, inside of that box. Neo, in the end, he started to wake up, and through trials and tribulations he realized, yes, I am the one. I am the one. Now people all around the world are starting to push back. YouTube, I didn't try and incite anything. I'm just saying, just people who are starting to wake up. They're starting to push back. They're starting to see things for what they really are. Wow. Let me go here. Here you got people programmed by the Matrix. Bunch of zeros and ones. The algorithms. They got like these cameras everywhere now, and they're just watching people. They're biometrics, collecting biometric data and information, treating us like we're some kind of, I don't know, robot or something. People programmed to go to work in order to live. They sleep 8 hours, go to work for 8 hours, have 8 hours free time. 8 hours free time in a whole day? 8 hours free time? Or a third of their life is free time. The rest is either sleeping or working. Is that really a life? You ever really thought about what free time is? Then you are conditioned to consume, buy, obey, and don't ask questions. Roman poet Juvenal said, give the people bread and circuses. Basically, it's a good form of distracting people. Give them bread and circus. Keep them entertained. Keep them over here. Right? Whilst the government and these technological institutions, these big tech firms, are doing something over there. Keep you asleep, keep you confined, keep you in a box. Man, people are starting to wake up. Look at the farmers in places like the Netherlands, The Hague. They're starting to push back. Look at India. The farmers there starting to push back. Look at Cardiff. Look at Wales. How the farmers there are starting to push back, starting to come out. You know that some of these big tech organizations have been paying farmers money not to grow produce. What? Not to grow produce. Why? Not to grow produce. They're paying the farmers not to produce food and cattle. There's an insidious reason behind this, a clandestine act behind this. They're getting farmers to sell off their land when the farmers can no longer afford to run their farms. It's been bought up by millionaires. What are we going to do with this land? Farmers are fighting back, pushing back, and I'm not inciting any riots or violence. So YouTube, before you decide to pull this video down, I'm not inciting any riots or any form of hate crime. Let me go back in. I'm coming up towards the end. Wow. ATMs. You know what? They're trying to create digital money. Now, not that they're trying to create it, it's already come out because you've got cryptocurrency and all that. But government, they want to now try and create some digital currency. Why? Because crypto and some of these other currencies, Bitcoin, start to take a certain amount of control in the markets, meant that people would start to have more freedom. Yeah? More choice of where to spend their money. Now, banks are starting to close down. ATMs are being taken out of service. They're trying to bring in a cashless society. They want, this is the bank, they want to have one world bank centralized. Okay? With just one digital currency. That's the aim. You'll probably just start off first with just a national currency controlled by central banks in your own countries, whether it's the USA or the UK or France. But eventually it will be just one bank, one world order. Okay? Let me read this. Certainly over... Right, let me go back. Certainly, over the last 4 years, there has been a notable trend of ATM closures in the UK. Here are some key statistics. 1. Free to use ATMs. Almost a quarter of free to use ATMs have vanished since 2018. 2. At the beginning of 2023, there were 49,421 cash machines in the UK, with 78 of them being free to use. The total number of ATMs in the UK peaked in 2015 and has been declining each year since then. 2. Bank branch closures. Almost half of the UK's bank branches have closed since 2015. Almost half of the UK bank branches have closed since 2015. 2. Banks and building societies have closed or scheduled the closure of more than 3,500 branches during 2015. Access to cash. 1. In April to June 2023, approximately 3.5% of the UK's population lived further than 2 kilometres from a bank, building society, post office or ATM where they could access cash. These trends reflect the changing landscapes of financial services, with digital payment methods becoming more prevalent. However, it's essential to consider the impact on individuals who still rely on cash for their daily transactions. This is a deliberate ploy. They're closing down these services to bring in digital money. But people, again, are starting to refuse using cards or digitalized money. You know, cash is king. Cash is king. The good thing about using cash is that it's a private transaction between you and someone else. Nobody else needs to get involved. Nobody else needs to get involved. You can spend your money wherever you want and with whomever you want. Okay? And it's not traceable like digital money. Digital money, if we go down that road, digital money means that the banks will have more control over where your money goes and who you're spending it with. They can take out money without even without your consent. Look at, there's a guy in China and he's jaywalking. That means he didn't step out onto the road from a zebra crossing, but further up the road. By the time he crossed the road to the other side, money was taken out of his account before he got to the other side. The camera's watching him. Right? The information went back to the banks and they took the money out of his account. Wow. Is that the future what you want? Seriously. Some people say the advantage of having digital money is it's safer. You won't get robbed or mugged for your money. It's kept in a safe place and it's a quicker form of transaction. And also, if you live in rural areas and you can't get to your bank, you can use digital money instead, because it's done remotely. The transfer of money is done remotely. I'll look at the bigger picture. So you're speeding in your car. You park up on the pavement. You might be fined for this. No chance of you appealing. The money will be just taken straight out of your bank. Wow. People are waking up to this and they're using cash over the last 2 years, there's been more cash transactions. That means that people are waking up to this. Let me go back. Wow. With this digital technology, it's good in some ways. It has its benefits, but in other ways, it can be very restrictive. Very restrictive. Look at this Tesla. This is one of these electric cars. And look at this old, I don't know if it's Chevy or what. Someone out there can tell me what make this car is here. I know it's American make. But listen, the World Economic Forum, WEF for short, and the United Nations and other organizations want polluting cars off the road, creating cleaner air, better emissions. What to say? This is a sustainable goal under Agenda 21. There's a little mistake there. So this is a goal under Agenda 21. Polluting vehicles, it appears, is also to blame for global warming by producing too much carbon dioxide. Our old cars, though, if well looked after, could last us a very long time and save you constantly buying new cars, right? Do you consume too many things? For example, clothes, mobiles, phones, perfumes, aftershaves, etc. Because this consumption thing is a big thing to the elite. They want us to constantly be consuming things. Okay, that's what makes their world economy works. But people are waking up to their higher self-actualization, and they're seeing all these things that's going on. They're coming out of the system. They're starting to reach up into their higher self, up into that fourth dimension. Not on this lower plane, this third dimensional world. People are waking up. They're looking at digital money, currencies, all this smart technology. And although it has its benefits, it can also be a prison. It can also be a prison, especially if it's in the control of the wrong hands and people who don't have the best interests for humanity. They want to control us, keep us confined in their little boxes. And they do this through fear, not through love, through fear. They have no feelings. They have no emotions. These robots and bots and avatars they're creating have no feeling. They have no emotion. As I said earlier on, go into your Alexa or whatever device and ask it, do you love me? And you will not get a straight answer back. It will not tell you that it loves you. Who created this thing? Why didn't they put love into the equation? Huh? Why didn't they? There's a reason for that. Very powerful reason for that. People, not everybody, but some are following each other off the cliff. Just like sheep sheeple. They're following each other off the cliff. They're not realizing that they're going into a trap. They're going into a trap. Dressed in their suits, following rules and regulations and laws, consuming things. The ones at the top, the hidden hand that you don't see, they want us to live in constant anger, 150 hertz frequency, fear, 100 hertz frequency, and they don't want this, peace, 600 hertz frequency, and they don't want us to reach enlightenment where we wake up and see what's really going on. We smell the coffee. I'm going to come out of this program, see some people. When they come out of the matrix, they fall back in. And it's easy to do because most of our lives we've been conditioned to think and feel and see the world through certain eyes. Okay? Like in the Matrix, there's a character on a ship with Neo, and he's looking at a piece of meat, and he's thinking, oh my God, I long for a steak. Man who wants to go back to the Matrix, longing to taste a steak and eat real food. It can be hard to get out of the Matrix simply because we've been conditioned from birth to follow someone else's narratives, perceptions that shapes us as humans. This is part of programming. Part of programming. Nin. Anyway, let me go. Wow, that's good. 88. People, come on, I'm sure you got some burning questions to ask me. Because I'm coming towards the end of this. Stream now. I'm trying to create a community, a conscious community. Okay? And that means I want you to be part of this community. I want you to join me. People, I want you to be also chatting with each other. Okay? Now you've got the chat box there on the side. You can communicate with each other. Okay? Let me go back. As I say, people are starting to wake up. Wow. People are starting to do things like this. Learn to grow your own food. You will have more idea of what you are consuming. You will have more control of your stomach and not allowing others to do so. Let me stop there a minute. Listen, when you go to a supermarket, especially these massive supermarkets, when you're buying food, do you ever really look at the packaging to see what the food contains? Because a lot of things we think are foods now that we're eating aren't really foods. They've got emulsifier in them which bonds water and oil together. You got things like ease in the food. You've got steroids. You got insecticides and pesticides in the food. You got aluminium or aluminum, as Americans would pronounce it, right, in the food. You've got antibiotics which they feed the animals in order to keep them healthy, to stop them from being sick. So when you are consuming this, what are you consuming? You are consuming some of these things, these pesticides, these steroids, okay, antibiotics, emulsifier, okay, and some of these things are making us ill. Some of these things are making us ill. I'm not going to go into it right here, right now, but when I create this new channel, which I am going to very soon, we can have a more open discussion, because I can tell you so many things, man. I can tell you so many things, but I can't on this platform, because next thing, if I say something they don't like, this video, or should I say the stream, will get pulled down. Our voices are starting to be eliminated. Okay? Freedom of speech will be a thing of the past in a couple of years from now. In the UK, they just signed this bill, which is now Act, the Online Safety Bill, signed by King Charles. He's given it his raw assent. It's a good thing in some ways, because it protects certain people from abuse. Okay? It protects people like children and vulnerable people. But I think this bill is much more deeper than that. And it's going to be a shut up gag, some clause to stop people from saying certain things, from waking people up. Every single thing that we say or do, every keystroke, every facial movement is being monitored, and that information is going back somewhere. The freedom of speech that we have on these platforms will soon dissipate. It will no longer be here. Trust what I'm telling you. Between now and the next year or two, a lot of these platforms are going to be taken down. People will shut up. Right? They put a mask tape over your mouth, like Neo when he's in the Matrix in the police station. Right? His lips were sewn up so that he couldn't speak. That's symbolic of free speech. How that is slowly being eradicated. Freedom of movement soon will be eradicated. Choice of food, where you can shop, what you can eat, where you can go, soon will be eliminated. 2020 was part of this global experiment. Let me go back into this. People, let me read this again. You need to start growing your own produce. Start becoming more self-sufficient. Learn to grow your own food. You will have more idea of what you are consuming. You will have more control of your stomach and not allowing others to do so. You can teach your family to grow things and spend more time together in nature. A famous ancient Egyptian physician said, "Let your food be your medicine and your medicine be your food." Your food should contain all the vitamins and minerals your body needs. Your body should contain all the vitamins and minerals your body needs. You shouldn't need to be taking all these drugs if you're eating the right food. Because your food is supposed to be your medicine. It's supposed to have all the vitamins, nutrients, yeah, minerals in it. Do you agree with me? If you do, please hit the like button. If you like this video, also please hit the like button. Go on, do it. You can do it. Go on, you can do it. You know you can. It's your own hand. It's your own hand. I don't want to see humanity turn into this thing, a battery. Okay? I don't want to see us turn it into batteries. We need to wake up. Those whose minds are being inculcated into thinking in a certain way, I can't blame you. Those who haven't woken up yet, I can't blame you. This has been a long life conditioning. Okay? It's been a long life conditioning. And it's not just of us. It's of our parents going back generations and generations. Okay? Anyway, I'm coming to the end of this live stream. Last week I introduced 5 ways to come out of the matrix, and now I'm gonna give you another 5. There's a whole heap more ways you can come out of this matrix, but I've given you 10 altogether. This is including this next 5. Right. Try not to have digitalized money if you can, or at least have parts and part. Okay? It'd be probably better for you to barter your skills with somebody else. Say if, for example, you're a builder, you could probably exchange food with somebody else. Okay? So that would be one form. That'd be one form of getting out of the matrix. You may be someone who makes clothes, and you may be able to barter that for exchange of something else, like someone painting your house or fixing your wall. So bartering is a way forward. Okay? So rather than using digitalized money and falling into that condition where somebody else will have more control of your spending, barter instead. Number 2, do not over consume. There's a lot of people out there and they consume a hell of a lot of products. Right? They got 20 aftershaves, 20 perfumes, 30 pairs of jeans, 30 pairs of skirts. They got 6 cars on their driveway. In order to come out of this matrix, you need to try and consume a lot less and save your money and put that money towards something else. Do you really need another pair of shoes when you got 20 in your home already and you're struggling with your bills? Do you really need 20 pairs of shoes? Do you really need an extra shirt when you've got 20 or 30 in your wardrobe? Try and save your money and not consume so much. On the television, you always get an adverts telling you to buy this and to buy that. That is just keeping you in the matrix. In order to come out, you need to start learning to consume less. And the more things that you consume means that if somebody needed to come and take your goods from your house, if you hardly got anything to take, what can they take? Have you ever looked upon it that way? If you got a television in every room and say somebody was to come to your house to take your goods, if you only have one television rather than 5, then what can they take? Try and consume less. Don't get into the pattern of constantly buying. Another one, you need to support your local shops, not these big supermarkets, but your local shops, because a lot of the shops on the high streets are starting to close down now. But you're more likely to get fresher food from your vegetable shop, your local. You might pay a little bit more than if you go into a supermarket, but you're also helping to support your local stores, and they support you. You probably got less pesticides in the food. So it's important to support your local businesses. Okay? These big conglomerates and monopolies, they can produce things a lot cheaper because they got more economies of scale. You need to support your local businesses. Trust what I'm telling you. And support your local farmers as well. Because we cannot survive without food, right? Am I right? Hit the like button. If you agree with me, please hit the like button. Support your local farmers, because without them, you're not going to have any food soon. Another thing, you need to meditate and try and keep your frequency high. And the only way you're going to do this is by constant meditation. Okay? You want to do at least 15 to 20 minutes meditation a day. If you can't manage that, then every other day at least. Okay? This will also help you with things such as depression and anxiety, because these times are anxious times. Trust. You need to meditate and connect with your higher self. Don't buy things that rust and spoil. Do not buy things that rust and spoil. That is another thing. Many of us buy things, but we have no real use for them, and we just hoard. Stop hoarding. Okay? If you don't really need something, you don't need it. You don't need to buy it just because you see it and you like it. You need to live within your means and buy things that's necessary. Okay? And finally, you're going to get people who's going to come up and try and sell you certain things. Try and sell you smart meters. Try and sell you smartphones. Try and get you involved in certain political groups. And all you have to do is just say simply, no thank you. You don't have to be, how would I say, you don't have to be angry. Just simply say, no, I don't want that. If somebody tries to offer you, you just say, no thank you, it's not for me. You don't need to get angry. Just simply say, no, it's not for me, and just leave it at that. Anyway, these are the other 5 ways of getting out the matrix. I suggest you go back and look at my other videos as well. Okay, the one I done last week, give you some other ideas about ways to get out of the matrix. Now, if we can totally detach ourselves from the matrix, I don't know if that's possible, but we need to try and detach ourselves as much as we can. Okay? You can be in this world, but not of the world. Know thyself. As what Bob Marley said many years ago, and someone by the name of Marcus Garvey, know thyself. Okay? There's people's going to try and pull you back into that matrix. And it's easy for some of us to fall back. Anyway, unless there's something anyone wants to say, I'm going to leave things here. Is there anything that anyone wants to say? Let me go over to you, Tube. Anyway, people, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you did, please hit the like button. Please share this video with other people. Okay? I shall be doing another live stream next Friday from 9 PM till probably 10 o'clock. I'm trying to shorten the live streams until summer, where I will also be doing some mini live streams. But anyway, I'm going to love you all and leave you, and I hope you enjoyed this live stream. And please, please share my video with other people, because I cannot depend on YouTube